Tionda and Diamond Bradley, still missing after 18 years. 10-year-old Tionda and 3-year-old Diamond were last seen at their home in Chicago, Illinois on July 6, 2001. Their mother, Tracy Bradley, left for work at 6:30 a.m., and when she came home at 11 a.m., she noticed a note from Tionda saying that she and Diamond planned to walk to a nearby school and a store. Tionda was enrolled in summer school classes at Doolittle Elementary School at the time, but according to school officials, she was absent that day. Several neighborhood children stated that the girls were playing outside their home around 12 p.m. that afternoon and haven't been seen since. Authorities stated that Tracy was very uncooperative regarding her daughter's disappearances and she voluntarily took a polygraph test, but she is not called a suspect in their case. Some investigators theorized that Diamond and Tionda were taken by a Middle Eastern man who paid child support for one of the girls during the summer of 2001 when he learned he wasn't her father. Authorities believe that Tionda and Diamond are deceased or taken out of the country. They also found a young girl who matched Diamond's description in 2001, who was lost, but Tracy refused to identify the girl and said that she wasn't Diamond. The girl was later returned to her family. In late April of 2005, the remains of a girl in her early teens were found in an industrial area on the far south side of Chicago, which were believed to belong to Tionda, but they haven't been identified and are believed to be from a Hispanic or Caucasian girl. Tionda normally wore her hair in long ponytails and was last seen wearing green ponytail holders in her hair. She has a quarter-sized burn on her left forearm and had a scrape on her left calf at the time of her disappearance. She was described as having a shy nature when dealing with strangers. She often used the term girl a lot, pronounced bye-bye as baby bye, and her hobbies were dancing and running track. Diamond normally wore her hair braided in the back with 4 ponytails and was last seen wearing violet and purple ponytail holders in her hair. She has deep-set eyes and has a scar on the left side of her hairline. She was described as being independent, naturally timid, but talkative.
I thought this bit was interesting. From the Trace Evidence podcast summary, not sure how relevant it is, but it adds an interesting dimension. There were suspicions early on of Tracy and the man she was seeing, George Washington, Diamond's father. The note didn't make sense, and a voicemail discovered later, left by Tionda the day they vanished, stated that a man named George was at the door. The family was divided about what they believed happened, and to this day, some 17 years later, the answers have never been found. Tracy stopped cooperating with authorities, and George Washington elected to never participate in the search.
It's weird though he would harm them. Both because the youngest child was his biologically.
Quote from original post, their mother, Tracy Bradley, left for work at 6:30 a.m. and when she came home at 11 a.m., she noticed a note from Tionda saying that she and Diamond planned to walk to a nearby school and a store. Tionda was enrolled in summer school classes at Doolittle Elementary School at the time, but according to school officials, she was absent that day. Several neighborhood children stated that the girls were playing outside their home around 12 p.m. that afternoon and haven't been seen since, end quote. That timeline doesn't make sense. The kids were last seen playing outside their home after Tracy returned home?
The mother was very uncooperative and refused to identify someone who could have been her child? What the actual frick?
Source material notes early investigators were hard on the mother and intimated she was a suspect in her own children's disappearance. She stopped cooperating on investigators' terms as a result, and on the advice of her attorney it appears. Source material also notes she initially lied to investigators to avoid losing her children to DFCS, since she left them at home unattended while at her job. Also, can't find any reference to the girl Tracy supposedly refused to ID in source materials. Can someone else spot it? Maybe I missed it? Or maybe just unsubstantiated rumor?
Probably uncooperative because she's a South Side, black female Chicago and who had to work with the Chicago PD in order to find her daughters. God only knows the accusations and doubts the CPD cast upon the poor mother because of her class and race. And a mother's intuition knows best. Turned out to not be her so.
I remember reading a quote from the great-aunt that the biological father was looked at by CPD and was found with a receipt for gloves, bleach, and garbage bags that he purchased at a Home Depot. Link. I have no idea how true that is. My speculation is that if it is true, the father killed the girls and Tracy Bradley was complicit, but CPD didn't manage to prove it.
I suspect it was someone close-ish, someone who noticed she left the children unattended when going to work. I'm thinking a boyfriend of a neighbor or cousin of someone in the building/at work. removed enough that Mum wouldn't have spotted this predator. But he spotted them.
My father was close to a number of the investigators on the case. There was little doubt that the mother's boyfriend killed the girls and disposed of the bodies with the mother's help. A shame they couldn't prove anything.
This happened right around the time I moved to Chicago. I have always wondered about the girls. Sent CPD a FOIA request but couldn't get the files because it involved minors. The weird thing to me is the mother's trip to the Indiana dunes.
So, what's your theory on what happened to Tionda and Diamond? Post it in the comments below. Thank you for listening. You can find the original post in the link in the description box below. I like being able to listen to posts when I'm busy doing something else and can't read them. So I made this video for anyone who wants to listen to their Reddit posts. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to get more puzzling mysteries.